Good morning. Well, things didn't go too well for Lazio on Sunday and getting a good thrashing 4-1, but as a personal point of view, I was pleased with my own performance. I'll be telling you more about that later, but first, yes, Ken, what's coming up in the show?
Coming up, the chase for the Serie A title. Is it becoming a three-horse race? Can Dino Zoff survive the latest Lazio setback? James Richardson with all the other news from the Italian newspapers. Parma and Milan fight it out to see who's the best club in Europe. Gazza takes us driving. Tomorrow's big live game features Roma's visit to Juventus. We profile the Romanisti's favourite footballing aristocrat, Giuseppe Giannini.
All that coming up, but first let's have a look at how the top three teams in Serie A did on Sunday, starting with Sampdoria against Napoli.
Now on by Lombardo, down goes Mancini, appealing for a penalty, and it's given. Dismay for Napoli. Mancini always struggling there to get back at Mancini, and the penalty given. So a great opportunity for David Platt to give his team the lead. Oh, but no, he saved it. Tagliatella. Oh, marvellous stop. And frustration now on the face of David Platt. Platt. Now Mancini's on his way. Was that a terrific end by Beer? Not this time.
That was a stonewall certainty, and the referee's got it wrong again. What a great volley pass from David Platt to send Mancini away.
Lombardo tangling again with Gambaro, and he's got the better of him. Jugovic on to Lombardo. Still Lombardo, and this time he had to score. Oh, that's a cracking goal. 10 minutes of the first half to go, and at last Sampdoria take the lead.
Well, it was coming, wasn't it, Peter? The play had been very good the last 5 minutes. Lombardo causing all sorts of problems. Great finish, what a great finish. With his left peg, his bad foot really compared to his right.
Buzo. Still Buzo, and Pagliuca out bravely, but did he bring him down? I think he's given the penalty. What did you make of that one, Liam?
Well, I think it's a penalty, and it happens so often in the game that the forward just gets a nick on the ball, and the keeper cannot stop his momentum taking him into the player, and it's a penalty, there's no doubt about it. I don't know what Pagliuca is going on about.
Fonseca, and a save by Pagliuca. The second penalty missed in the game, and Pagliuca redeems himself with the save. Now will Fonseca try one from here? Villa is there too, and Di Canio. But here is Fonseca, and it's a goal for Napoli. Fonseca. Well, no wonder they're celebrating. They've come out and played with a real purpose at the start of the second half, and their reward is Fonseca's 9th goal in 13 games this season. The goal 5 minutes into the second half. Lombardo through. Lecce! 2 goals in a minute.
But he definitely looked offside, Lombardo, but I'm not too sure if he was. There she goes.
Well, he must have been offside, surely.
Well, it certainly looked like it.
Policano. He's spotting the runner. Bresciani! Offside.
A great ball from Policano. And again, we have a marginal decision. It doesn't look offside to me. And Napoli will feel they've been very hard Hard done this game.
Now Hullet. Two to contend with now, and he's got away from them, Hullet. Superb play by him, and it had to be another goal. Mancini. Fabulous work by Ruud Hullet, and in the end, well, an easy finish for Mancini. But all the credit there to the mercurial Ruud Hullet. Salcedo. Hullet. Mancini. Still Mancini. And that, without any question, is the century of goals for Roberto Mancini. And what a way to reach the 100 mark.
Well, it's a combination again, Hullet-Mancini. Hullet slipped him in. Mancini's done brilliantly, kept his cool, dribbled round one. And underneath the body of the goalkeeper.
Sì, è un periodo che va tutto bene, come dici tu. Era importante sbloccare il risultato contro una squadra che noi temavamo molto. E anche se abbiamo vinto 4-1, i valori in campo, soprattutto del Napoli, sono stati veramente grandi, perché loro è una squadra molto giovane, giocano molto bene al calcio e quindi gli facciamo anche dei complimenti.
L'episodio chiave, possiamo dirlo, è stato quello del secondo gol, questo fuorigioco presunto, vero?
Perché io non lo so se era fuorigioco o no, perché non lo posso sapere. Io mi sono arrabbiato soltanto perché ho visto il guardianino alzare la bandierina e poi abbassarla immediatamente, ed è questo che sono andato a chiedere a lui.
Siete rimasti soli ad inseguire il Milan, che effetto le fa?
Grande piacere, chiaro che la posizione in classifica è buona, e che la squadra sta bene e tutti si divertono.
As soon as Albertini shot Kenan back off the crossbar, Milan knew they were in for a frustrating afternoon. Lecce had never won a point in the San Siro against Milan, but this was to be a historic day for them. Giuseppe Giannini saved Lecce from a weekly humiliation this season, and he was in outstanding form once again. Here he keeps out Albertini's drive. Fabio Capello's last desperate gamble was to bring on Donadoni, but Lecce's luck held firm. And they might have snatched a dramatic late winner through Gazzani. When Franco Baresi goes for goal, you know things aren't going too well for Milan. Baresi hasn't scored a league goal now for almost 4 years. Yes, you guessed it, against Lecce. It ended goalless.
Fabio Capello, meno 20, non è una temperatura polare, ma sono i gol in meno che ha fatto il Milan in confronto alla prima partita del girone di ritorno. Con questa difficoltà nel sbloccare le azioni offensive, che anche oggi sono state tantissime, non la preoccupa?
Ma guarda, io credo che sia importante che il Milan continui a giocare e creare occasioni di tirare in porta. Ma succederà poi che invece di prendere colpire i pali o tirare addosso al portiere anche in situazioni più favorevoli, riusciremo a segnare.
Un Lecce coraggioso ma anche lucido, sempre.
Sì, e direi che questa è la caratteristica, è un po' la prima volta che non commettiamo qualche piccolo errore che poi ci costa. Anche, bisogna dire anche che abbiamo avuto un briciolo di fortuna.
Ravanelli standing over the ball. Marocchi organising things for Juventus. And now Juventus unhappy that Cremonese wall hasn't retreated the statutory 10 yards. And the referee, Walter Cinciaripini, is a real stickler for playing the game by the letter of the law. Midway through the first half. Roberto Baggio, 1-0! And the best player in the world scores a world-class goal. This really was a breathtaking strike from Roberto Baggio. Gendabaggi. Lucarelli. Aimed towards Tantoni, who might get a stab at it here. Cristiani! Well, this is easily Cremonese's best spell of the game, as Cristiani goes close for them. Cristiani again. Conte can't get there. Gendabaggi, 1-1. Oh, they're level just before half-time. And that goal had been coming for the last 5 minutes. It's Giannabaci's second goal of the season. And Juventus have been guilty of sitting back and inviting Cremonese to attack. Vanelli takes the free kick into Roberto Baggio. Delivio can cross the ball here. Kohler's on the back post. Oh, it was an unmissable chance. But Jürgen Kohler missed it. It would have given Juventus a 2-1 half-time lead. Well, the Cremonese defenders must feel like they've had a penalty awarded against them here, such as the lethal accuracy of Roberto Baggio. They've already seen him score a goal midway through the first half. Here he is again. He's found a way through, but that one not accurate enough. Another brilliant free kick from Baggio.
Comunque abbiamo fatto una buona partita nonostante queste difficoltà. Abbiamo giocato una partita con grande applicazione. Abbiamo avuto un momento difficile all'inizio nel quale sbagliavamo molto, abbiamo concesso il gol a loro e abbiamo sbagliato tantissimi passaggi. Poi però lì c'è stata questa bella reazione dell'ultimo quarto d'ora che ci ha portato al pareggio. Dopo il secondo tempo direi che abbiamo difeso con ordine.
Sono contento così di questo gol perché avevamo provato ieri mattina qualche volta e non avevamo riuscito a fare gol.
Anche perché è difficile, no? 3 tocchi, poi questo tiro che si infila.
Comunque è andata abbastanza bene, peccato che non siamo riusciti a portarla in porta fino in fondo.
So Juventus slipped to third place, with Sampdoria making the most of Milan's surprise draw against Lecce.
Well, it looks like the top 3 seem to be pulling away from the rest of us. Milan, Sampdoria and Juventus. Well, it's up to us to pull our fingers out. As you're seeing there, we've had our own problems where Zoff's supposed to be getting the sack. But more about that later. Yes, James, what's coming up in the news?
Good morning. Do you know, 7 days ago I was sat at this very bar saying it's hard to know now who will stop Milan, which was silly of me really, because under my nose the whole time was Lecce, Serie A's bottom club, who on Sunday succeeded where so many other clubs have failed. They held Milan to that 0-0 draw at the San Siro in what has to be the season's most unexpected result so far, particularly to our programme editor who lost 30 quid on it to the boy who makes the tea. Woe for him then on Sunday afternoon, but also, of course, to the champions, described rather uncharitably on Monday morning by the Gazzetta as tortoise Milan. The Gazzetta points out that Milan have scored just half the number of goals at this point that they managed this time last year. Capello is under fire from the fans, you heard their whistles during our highlights, and also from his president, Silvio Berlusconi, who is now once again openly in support of Dejan Savicevic. Indeed, the papers here now reckon that should Capello fail to bring a 3rd consecutive Scudetto to Milan this summer, then he will be replaced. My, it's a tough old world. Still, Milan weren't the only big name to come a cropper this Sunday, as the Corriera's headline the next morning illustrates. Poor millionaires, they say, after setbacks to not only Milan and Juventus, as we've seen, but also Lazio, Parma and Inter. Indeed, Inter's president Pellegrini had already labelled his team as spineless in something of a morale-boosting effort before their game at Reggiana, and they loyally went out and proved him right with not only that 1-0 defeat there, but also a 3-1 loss to Monaco in Wednesday night's Fiorucci Cup. That match, incidentally, including a hat-trick from Jürgen Klinsmann, the ex-player who Inter wisely decided to replace with Darko Panchev last season. Inter are in free fall, is the Gazetta's comment the next day, which seems about right. They've lost all 4 of their opening matches in 1994, and the big question for the press now is not if, but when their coach Bagnoli will get the chop. According to some reports, in fact, he's already offered his resignation this week. Who, though, will replace him? Well, Serie A seems to have more coaches on the move right now than National Express, so you can take your pick of anyone, from Bianchi of Napoli to old Inter hand Trapattoni, currently, of course, at Juventus. The most interesting story has Mondonico, the miracle man of Torino, taking Bagnoli's place at Inter, while Bagnoli goes to Cremonese, and Cremonese coach Simone then moves to take Mondonico's place at Torino, all very neat and tidy. However, the most certain thing in all this coaching musical chairs is that Dino Zoff won't be sitting at Lazio when the music stops. A metaphor. Zoff's team went down flailing at Foggia on Sunday 4-1, causing some harsh words from the team president, Sergio Cragnotti. Monday's Corriere, here's Cragnotti, Zoff, I want a team. And then in the Messaggero the same day, he's saying, respect to Zeman. He goes on to diss his team still further. Foggia are a Ferrari, we are a Cinquecento. One of these. The Lazio coach has been on his way out ever since the start of last season, but now it really does look as if I may, Dino Zoff, especially since the Corriere dello Sport this week reveals that the club are already negotiating with Foggia coach Zeman to replace him. Cragnotti secretly met the chain-smoking Czech just before Christmas, not that secretly, clearly. Zeman at Lazio, well, it does raise some interesting questions, particularly what the hardest working taskmaster in Serie A would do with Paul Gascoigne, always assuming Paul Gascoigne's still at Lazio next season. For his part, though, Zeman's in agreement with nearly all the papers here that Paul was the best thing about Lazio on Sunday. Presumably he especially liked it when Paul mysteriously started playing for Foggia just before the final whistle. Well, we'll be hearing from Paul on the subject of that wayward back pass and other matters besides in a couple of minutes. Right now, though, it's time to bring to an end our look at the week's news with a story from Torino. You've probably seen in the last few days that UEFA have now asked the Italian Federation for a full report on Torino's alleged attempts to bribe officials in their UEFA Cup games 2 years ago. Story this we brought to you here on Gazzetta ages ago. It revolves around suggestions that Torino provided referees with young female interpreters keen, shall we say, to speak the international language, all in return for a bit of friendly officiating. Well, Torino are, of course, the next opponents in the Cup Winners' Cup for Arsenal, and you may have read reports this week that those games are somehow in danger. However, UEFA are at pains to point out that there's no risk of a suspension for Torino or of those matches being in jeopardy until a future case against Torino is proved, and given that the first of those matches is just over 2 months away, they don't look in too much danger. Well, we'll be bringing you all the developments on that story as they happen, but for now, that's where we come breathless to the end of this week's rumours, shocks and revelations. Coming up after the break, as I say, Paul Gascoigne with his chat for the week, Serie A goals, and of course, highlights from the first leg of the Super Cup played this week between Parma and Milan. Right now, though, the break.
Touch you. Oh, now let's get together and feel alright. Say now come.
Call 0800 44 5533 or your ABTA travel agent.
From a land that believes that all men are created equal, comes an airline that's made a divided first class and business class a thing of the past by creating Business First, the luxury of Continental Airlines first class comfort, first class seats, first class space, in first class style, to and from the airport, but at a business class fare. Continental Airlines, Business First.
If you don't want your children to watch sex, violence, or bad language, there's a magazine that helps you find all the best children's programs on TV. Are you the RT type?
Continental Tires. #1 in Germany. Specified by most of the world's leading car manufacturers. Now, one of the UK's fastest growing makes of tire. Is there no stopping Continental? Only when it matters. Continental Tires. German engineering where you need it most on a car.
And on, and Ariston at Comet.
So where's all the cowboys?
What's that? We should have left this stuff.
Then let's do it.
Have a nice day. OK, so let's leave it all. The 106? No, Tony's flat.
The Peugeot 106. Leave it all behind.
What, my Tony?
Welcome back. Highlights of the European Super Cup coming up. But first, here's Gazza.
Well, I did get to play last Sunday, despite my little injury in my rib. You know, like I said before, personal point of view, I was really pleased, but to get a hammer in 4-1 wasn't too good. Taking notice of the fourth goal for Foggia is that I think I got a knock on my back. My back was killing us anyway. I put it down to that.
From the moment Mancini kept out Casiragi's header, Foggia took control of their home match against Lazio. And after 18 minutes, they took the lead through De Biagio, who was rejected by Lazio 5 years ago. Revenge was sweet. Paul Gascoigne had to reproduce the form shown against Sampdoria a week earlier, but he was off target there. Then 8 minutes before half-time, Foggia went 2-0 up, courtesy of Capellini. Early in the second half, Lazio came back into the game. Alan Boksic scored his third goal since his arrival from Marseille. De Biagio was then halted by Marcagiani. Havali was sent off for his second cautionable offence. And Foggia restored their two-goal winning margin, although there was more than a suspicion of offside as Mandelli converted this chance. Paul Gascoigne was desperate to play a major part in this match, and he inadvertently released Capellini, who scored his second and Foggia's fourth goal. Foggia have now won 3 of their last 4 league games.
Dopo tutto quel che si è detto in settimana, le dà fastidio perdere in questa maniera contro Zeman?
No, non è questione di moduli, qua si tratta di ben altre cose. Il modulo è fine a se stesso, perché è la vecchia regola del calcio che correre conta ancora.
Comunque una Lazio senza idee né gambe.
Sì, le idee, sai, quando non si hanno così questa determinazione, questa voglia di fare risultato, le idee diventano secondarie.
Torino and Piacenza drew 2-2 in the first leg of their Italian Cup quarter-final just 4 days before the league meeting in Turin. After Silenzi's header cleared the crossbar, Torino were restricted to shots from distance. Francescoli had the free kick. Torino were then handed an ideal opportunity to take the lead, albeit via the penalty spot, following Piovani's bizarre attempt to clear the ball. Silenzi had his penalty saved, one of 4 spot kicks not converted at the weekend. 5 minutes after the restart, Torino finally took the lead with a deflected goal. Poggi's shot cannoned in off Chiti. Cue Torino celebrations. Silenzi and Poggi should have contrived to make the game safe for Torino. Piacenza, meanwhile, have failed to score now in their last 3 away games, but almost managed an equaliser here with Piovani. They went even closer when Turini, the club's top goalscorer, almost surprised the Torino goalkeeper. In fact, if you look at Piacenza's finishing, you can see why goals have been hard to come by away from home. Torino, without a win in their last 4 league games, tried to extend their winning margin, but with little success. First, Poggi sees his goal-bound shot saved. Then Sergio was prepared to cut in and shoot from 20 yards. It's Torino's first Serie A win since November. Italy's live TV game this weekend featured Cagliari and Atalanta. Rambaudi came close to giving Atalanta the lead. In fact, Rambaudi was involved in Atalanta's next serious attack. Magoni has his shot blocked, and Rambaudi is only a haircut away from making contact with the ball. When it comes to spectacular headers, this one's even better. Mattioli provides the cross, Deli Valdez the header. After one South American almost scored, another created the first goal of the match. 15 minutes from full-time, the veteran Brazilian Alemão supplied Orlandini with the scoring pass. Orlandini's in something of a rich seam of goals of late. It was his third in his last 4 games. Cagliari left it late for their equaliser. Just 3 minutes of the game remained when Belgium international Luis Oliveira volleyed in. The Uruguayan Herrera deserves a good deal of credit here, flicking on the corner to the far post. Atalanta are improving now, 5 points out of a possible 6.
More Serie A action to come, but now it's Parma against Milan in the European Super Cup. Gary Bloom reports on their midweek meeting.
Brolin. On to Asprilla, he's away from Baresi. Now, can he find a shot? Costa Curta did just enough to put him off, but that really was an outstanding run from an outstanding player. Not been playing of his best at late, often accused of being too greedy, and he didn't really look up here to find a colleague in a white shirt. His eye was always on goal. Fabio Capello. His Milan side haven't really created too many chances so far, but they've won a corner now. Milan have drawn their last 2 games, both goalless against Serie A's bottom 2 sides, Lecce and Udinese. They want an improvement tonight. Here's Desailly! It would have been ironic had the Frenchman given Milan the lead. He was part of that Marseille team which won the European Cup at the end of last season. And had Ballotta dropped this ball, Jean-Pierre Papin was moving in for the kill. It's a well-flighted cross looking for Asprilla. Didn't quite get there, but Parma have retained possession. Kripa, Brolin. This one for Maldini. Baresi now, Milan's only ever-present player in Serie A this season. Zola. This is Brolin. Now, what can he manufacture here? It's a splendid shot. It went right through the hands of Sebastiano Rossi. As that ball fizzed through to that Milan goal. Savicevic really didn't help his colleagues there by getting in the way. Maldini, playing some of the best football of his career so far. Finds Desailly, steps around one challenge, that of Apolloni, but the shot was weak. And that's 1 or 2 times now Desailly has moved forward menacingly for Milan. This really was rather skillful to get past Apolloni. The shot wasn't as skillful. Maldini got his head to the ball. Sensini almost directed the ball into the path of Papin. Albertini. This is David Balleri now. Zola. Rossi happy to get maximum yardage on his clearance. This, incidentally, the 19th European Super Cup, played over 2 legs. Parma will want a goal to take to the San Siro. One hasn't been forthcoming yet. This is Maldini. Nice ripple of passes there for Milan. Giassotti. Help forward here towards Eranio. Savicevic, Eranio now for Milan. Papin's arriving. Papin scored. Parma looked to a man, to the linesman, but he kept his flag down and Milan lead. Papin is back from suspension with a goal. Well, I wonder if his absence has had some effect on the 2-0 scorelines Milan have had in recent matches. Papin's back, and Milan suddenly have a focus to their attack. This was a well-flighted cross from Eranio. Just a suspicion of offside against Papin. Even he looked towards the linesman. Well, without Van Basten and without Papin, Milan are something of a toothless tiger. Brolin. Valeri's joined the attack now. Esprit is up. It's cannoned off Baresi for a corner. For the record, this is the second time two Italian clubs have contested the Super Cup. Back in 1990, Milan beat Sampdoria over 2 legs. Now, can Parma find an equaliser? Oh, they almost can. That was a header by Lorenzo Minotti. Skillfully flicked on, and he almost deceived Rossi.
Well, he's tried a mask. Last week, a plastic corset. What next for our man Gazza?
Well, as I thought, you're probably sick of us sitting outside me villa talking all the time. So I thought I'd take you for a nice ride around the Italian countryside with a nice Italian fresh air. Fumes, whatever you want to call it. Ciao. Well, obviously things didn't go too well for Lazio at Foggia this week. As I say, we got a good thrashing 4-1. As a personal point of view, I thought the problems we're having is not just the spirit, but the faith that when we do go to places like Foggia, that things are not going to be easy. Things are not going to be beautiful football, and we're going to have to scrap for everything. Foggia is supposed to be a team that work very, very hard and battle. I think that's what we've got to do in our game, especially at teams like Foggia and other teams that are not as classy or as fantastic as your Juventus or your Milans, who might give you a little bit of time to play. And I think that's where we went wrong on Sunday. But never mind, you know, we have the next week to look to for, but 4-1 is not too good. The president wasn't too happy, and I don't think any of the players were either. The only thing we can do is put it right on Sunday. Well, despite the back pass, amazingly the press give us good reports. You know, I've played better than that and haven't got as good reports. It was also nice of their manager to speak good things of his, despite my injury. They were talking about a body pack, but as you've seen by the size, I've got plenty of pack to support me. Yeah, it was really, really nice. It was only a shame that we didn't win the game. I'll be looking forward to Sunday. I still have a bit of a problem in the rib cage, but I'm really looking forward to the match tomorrow. Well, there's been talks about Lazio now finished of the running for the championship. I know there's 16 games to go and we still have to fight. I would like to think that we're not out of the championship, but when you have teams like Milan who are 5 points clear, then it is difficult to catch up on teams like that, as good as that. That's where you can afford to let them away. Now I think, you know, we've got to get as many points as we can and hope that Milan drop them. If not, then we have to, you know, keep battling because we have the UEFA Cup. We've got to get qualified for that again. And to do that, obviously, we've got to win all our home games, or most of them, and get points away from home. And if we carry on the way we did against Foggia, well, it's out of the question. You know, it's easy to talk about it, but it was there in reality. We got beat 4-1, and it's for us to book our ideas up at Lazio. There's been talks about Zoff getting the sack and Zeman coming all week, but the president is assured, you know, that the house at Lazio is all stable. You know, we have to knit together and stick together, and he has not said anything about Zoff getting the sack at all. Zoff is with Lazio for the next 2 years, and knowing the guy he is, he would want to see his contract out, and he would love to do what's best for Lazio, and that's obviously to win the championship or win something, and it'll be nice for everybody. So as far as I'm concerned, his position is still strong with Lazio, and what's important, I know it's easy to slag anyone else when the team gets beat, but everyone was singing them praises when last year when we qualified for UEFA, and when we do well in games. So, you know, we can turn around again, and that's by winning and getting points and getting up on the table. another shock happened for us when I was away. House got burgled again, same as last year. And last year they took all my suits. They must have had a look at my wardrobe and they didn't fancy anything I've just got in there at the moment. I don't blame them. They took a little bit of cash, it wasn't much. I think it might have been young kids. But it's not the fact that I was just pleased that there was no one in the house when they come. But now I'll sleep with a nice little baseball bat down my side, and I like to see a few of them come in now. Well, we're back home now, and I hope you really enjoyed your little run through the countryside. Tomorrow we have a tough game against Reggiana, and hopefully we'll get the 2 points as we're at home, and hopefully I'll play really, really well. Well, I hope you enjoyed your travel. Hope you have a nice day, and make sure you travel again with Gascoigne Airways. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You know, I wish Freud was still alive, so I could give him a lift home. He'd have a field day. Rattle falling out of your pram, mate? What would you make of him, Sigmund? Don't even think about it, Pigeon. That's the way. Get it out of your system before you learn to drive. Now, that is a big car. What does it tell us about the man in the back? When it comes to ego, I'm with you, Sigmund. The more you know, the less you need to show. Sorted.
Jeff and Jane Blue are retired spies, but they can't put their work behind them. Undercover Blues.
When this whole world starts getting me down and people are just too much for me to face. On the roof, the only place I know where you just have to wish.
Relax on New Club World and arrive ready for business.
On the roof. Stairs.
Hello, RAC. How can we help you?
Look, I'm sure there's nothing you can do, but our car's been vandalized.
Your membership number is?
812-456.
The patrolman's on his way, madam.
Every month, McDonald's brings you a new flavour of the month. This month, it's Vegetable McNuggets, made with carrots, sesame seeds, green beans, rice and parsley, all in a crispy coating. Great food, great value. McDonald's new Vegetable McNuggets.
Welcome back. Our Juventus versus Roma preview coming up, but first, let's complete our roundup of last weekend's action.
A defeat for Inter would have effectively ended their hopes of the league title. With Zenga sidelined through injury, Reggiana's shoot-on-sight policy was understandable. Matut and Scienza both fancied their chances against Abate. At the other end, Claudio Taffarel showed why Brazil will have an outstanding goalkeeper at this year's World Cup. Davide Fontelan was twice foiled by Taffarel. Next, Shalimov was left shaking his head as he almost scored with his head. Reggiana were always dangerous on the counter-attack, and the former Inter forward, Dario Morello, twice came within inches of opening the scoring. Scienza did just that midway through the second half. Would Zenga have saved this free kick? Only in his dreams. With Abate unable to save that shot with his hands, he was prepared to use his feet next time around. The final chance for Inter came in the final minute. Rubin Sosa blew his chance, and Inter blown theirs of taking the championship. It ended 1-0 to Reggiana.
Bravo Taffarel, ma forse l'Inter paga I troppi errori in attacco di oggi.
Beh, non andrei su questi discorsi qua. Io direi che abbiamo perso una partita, però noi abbiamo fatto il tutto per cercare di vincerla. Ma il momento è quello di quelli no, perché io penso che la partita l'abbiamo fatta.
6 minutes from half-time, Laios Dattari picked out Thomas Scoravi, and the visiting team were a goal ahead. Roma were booed off the field at half-time, but they seem refreshed by their half-time cappuccino. Hessler almost brought the teams level. And from his next free kick, he almost grabbed the goal Roma craved. Giannini was busy craving a penalty. In fact, it took Roma an hour to score. Their second-half substitute, Scarchini, produced a cross of quality onto the head of Capioli. Capioli is beginning to outshine Abel Balbo in the Roma team. Capioli should have scored with an easier chance moments later. Roma's path to goal was predictable but effective. Abel Balbo, new haircut and all, headed wide as Roma were held to their third consecutive 1-1 draw. Faustino Asprilla went close to opening the scoring for Parma. But after their goalless draw against Milan 4 days earlier, Udinese were in confident mood and swept ahead just after the half-hour mark. Bertotto the scorer. Then from another Parma free kick, Zola almost equalised. Shortly before half-time, Parma believed they should have been awarded a penalty when Brolin was brought down. It wasn't given. However, the referee did award Parma a penalty kick for handball by Statuto. It was a harsh decision to say the least. Judge for yourselves whether the Udinese midfielder handled intentionally. Perhaps justice was done when Battistini saved from Brolin. From then on, the Udinese goalkeeper kept Parma out single-handed. On the stroke of full-time, Apolloni was denied a rare goal by Battistini as Udinese won their first league game since October. Meanwhile, Parma lose further ground on Milan.
And that surprise defeat for Parma means they lose ground in the title race to the top three: Milan, Sampdoria and Juventus. With Lazio, Inter and Napoli also losing, only Torino of the chasing pack make any headway. Despite their brave performance at Milan, Lecce are still rooted to the foot of the table behind Udinese. But Reggiana leapfrog Atalanta following their surprise victory over Inter. Andrea Silenzi still heads the scoring chart, but he's not been on target since December the 12th. Roberto Baggio and Ruud Gullit both moved another goal closer last weekend, and Daniel Fonseca joined Brian Roy on the 9 mark. Silenzi will be trying to rediscover his goal touch at Atalanta tomorrow. Champions Milan will be keen to make amends for last weekend's goal drought when they visit Genoa, while Inter, after 3 defeats in a week, try to pacify their fans at home to Foggia. And David Platt's Sampdoria should keep up the pressure by getting something at Piacenza. The evening game sees Parma at Lecce, and you'll be able to watch that on Mezzanotte on Tuesday evening. Only 1 goal separated the sides when they met for the first time this season back in September. Zola's 29th minute penalty winned it for Parma. Watch Mezzanotte on Tuesday night to see who comes out on top this time. But our live game tomorrow features Roma at Juventus. James Richardson will be your presenter at the Stadio delle Alpi.
On the eve of AS Roma's game with their old enemy Juventus, we're here in the capital to talk to Giuseppe Giannini, more than just a player for Roma, a captain and symbol of the squad, a man in fact once dubbed the Prince of this city, but increasingly in recent years, a bone of contention for the fans. It's a sunny January day at Trigoria as we meet Il Principe. The team are out training for the game against Juve, and despite the fact that half a season in, Roma's latest revolution is already struggling, their captain remains optimistic.
Sì, il nostro obiettivo di inizio stagione è e rimane la zona UEFA, no? Siamo a 2 punti, diciamo, dall'Inter, che è una squadra che tutto sommato ha speso tantissimo quest'anno, ha grandi giocatori, e quindi la nostra speranza è di poter rientrare nel gruppo delle squadre che lottano per entrare in zona UEFA.
Sunday's game will be Giannini's 260th for Roma in Serie A, and perhaps no player in Italy, not even Mancini at Sampdoria, has such close ties with his club as Giuseppe. After growing up a Roma fan here in the capital, he made his senior debut for the club 13 seasons ago at the tender age of 17 and a half. It was a golden period for Roma, duelling with Juve at the top of Serie A and winning a Scudetto too, led by the king, Paolo Falcao, the man who first dubbed the young Giuseppe the Prince. How do you remember the early days with Falcao, Cerezo and Bruno Conti?
Ma i primi anni giustamente si ricordano un pochino con più malinconia, proprio perché la squadra, con tutto il rispetto, aveva altre ambizioni, lottava per lo scudetto. Mi ricordo che la Juventus-Roma di domenica, negli anni passati, era il derby d'Italia, era chiamato il derby d'Italia proprio perché si incontravano le 2 più forti squadre d'Italia 6-7 anni fa.
How tough was it for you being labelled with the nickname Prince at 17 years old?
Un giovane chiamato Principe come soprannome, sai, tutti si aspettavano magari subito grandissime cose, e quindi sono arrivate molte critiche, dove poi io sono riuscito così a superarle costantemente con il lavoro, con la volontà, con l'impegno. Però a me ha dato moltissimo fastidio questa cosa, no? Di essere stato soprannominato Principe, proprio perché dà un aspetto non reale del mio carattere, della mia persona. Principe di solito è uno un po' distaccato, un po' al di sopra di tutto. Io invece sono al contrario una persona molto semplice, molto genuina e molto così tranquilla, senza grilli per la testa, senza tante cose in mente.
With his fame swelled by a starring role in the post-Falcao Roma, Giuseppe quickly became playmaker for the Italian national team. Rarely missing a match and rarely disappointing, Giannini notched up 47 appearances for his country and 6 goals, one of the most memorable coming in the last World Cup finals. A glorious time that it was for Giannini in Italy, it was an experience that was to end in disappointment.
La semifinale di Napoli ai rigori con l'Argentina. Sì. Quella è stata, secondo me, il momento più negativo, più sfortunato della mia carriera, perché se fosse finita in modo diverso probabilmente avremmo giocato, anzi senza probabilmente, avremmo giocato la finale contro la Germania all'Olimpico e sai, non credo che la Germania così se la portava così facilmente da casa la vittoria, o quantomeno avremmo avuto lo stadio tutto per noi. Purtroppo sono occasioni che non capitano più, che non capiteranno più nella vita. A me era capitata e diciamo non l'abbiamo saputa sfruttare al meglio.
Well, you've had a lot of success, but is there anything that's still missing from Giannini's career as a footballer?
Sì, beh, è chiaro, vincere uno scudetto a Roma credo che sia soltanto pochissimi giocatori hanno potuto così avere questa grande fortuna, no? Io non ce l'ho avuta per adesso. Vorrei magari da qui a fine carriera poter riuscire a dire sì, ho vinto uno scudetto con la mia squadra, con la mia città, con i miei tifosi. È difficile, però nella mia idea, nelle ambizioni della società attuale c'è questa possibilità di poter fare una grande squadra ed arrivare così a lottare per lo scudetto.
It's hard not to think that Giannini's is a career tinged with could-have-beens in Europe, in the World Cup, even at Roma. Too young to actually play in the last Scudetto-winning team, he probably won't be around for the next. His prime years instead, 3 Coppa Italias notwithstanding, spent leading a declining Roma. To the press, by now it's an underachieving team, and he is its underachieving captain. At 29, they now suggest the way to the next Scudetto for Roma is without him. After nigh on 13 years of him, what do the Roma fans think of Giannini? Well, to find out, we've come here to the Testaccio region of the town, where the club was actually born almost 70 years ago, and where, for good or for bad, everyone has an opinion on Giannini.
C'è chi dice che dopo 13 anni bisogna far fuori Giannini per lasciare la Roma andare in alto?
No, assolutamente no. Giannini è a Roma e basta. Deve rimanere a Roma perché è una persona che dà molta carica. È il regista della Roma e basta.
Io sono stato sempre un ammiratore di Giannini, sempre. Però oggi come oggi non sono più un ammiratore, perché la Roma non ha mai fatto un passo di qualità proprio perché ci sta Giannini, che non abbiamo, diciamo, l'esploit di un altro atleta che possa dare qualcosa di più di Giannini.
No, è un buon giocatore, secondo me è un buon giocatore. Avrà un caratteraccio, però insomma è uno che il pallone sicuramente lo sa far girare bene. No, non mi piace, è un buon giocatore.
Giannini è un fuoriclasse, è uno dei giocatori più bravi del mondo, però in questo momento sta un pochino a pezzi, però noi romanisti l'amiamo e per noi è sempre un fuoriclasse.
Purtroppo sia per il bene suo che per il bene della Roma sarebbe meglio se va via.
È cambiati 4 allenatori in 4 anni, Giannini prima con Bianchi, Giannini dopo con Boscov e mo Giannini basta.
Hai detto bene, sono un giocatore che dà grandissime emozioni, sia in negativo che in positivo. Alcune domeniche sono un fenomeno, altre domeniche sono uno scarso giocatore, un giocatore normale o quantomeno di Serie B. È troppo semplice magari dire è colpa di questo o di quello, perché la società che fa a fine anno manda via Giannini ed è tranquilla, vince lo scudetto o arriva a lottare per lo scudetto. Io sarei felice di questo, però non credo che sia questa la verità.
Giannini and Roma currently lie 11th in Serie A, but he remains optimistic about the club's chances. Just one loss, after all, bizarrely and typically enough to Piacenza, spoils Roma's record in the last 11 games. And whatever the team's character faults may be, they always do wake up against big clubs, of which in fact only Milan has managed to beat them this season.
Togliamo la partita contro il Genoa di domenica, che non è stata bella, però le altre partite, le ultime partite della Roma, 5 o 6 partite, ha sempre giocato un buon calcio. Contro il Parma, contro l'Inter, contro la Sampdoria in Coppa Italia, ha dimostrato che la Roma stava tornando in salute, stava ritornando quella che diciamo tutti i tifosi si aspettano e tutti noi vogliamo vedere. Quindi io credo che domenica la Roma potrà fare una buona gara.
Anche un buon Giannini domenica?
Io credo di sì, speriamo per tutti, per me, per i tifosi e per la squadra.
Giuseppe Giannini. Of course, he and Roma will have to go their separate ways sooner or later, but after 13 years together, it would be nice if things didn't come to an end on such a sour note. Certainly tomorrow, Roma fans will be hoping for a great Giannini performance to prove there's still some life in this relationship yet.
And that's it for today. James Richardson introduces Juventus against Roma tomorrow. Alongside him will be the former England striker Malcolm MacDonald. Joe Jordan will be with Peter Brackley in the commentary box. So join us for the whole match live at 1:15.
At 1 o'clock this afternoon, earlier than advertised, we go to Warwick for racing. While next on 4, a look back to a golden age in which England won the World Cup and man played golf on the moon in sporting years to remember.